Hey, what is up, people? Gotta let it breathe just for a moment. Little emergency podcast. Hey, man, we've been waiting, even if there wasn't an emergency, we've been waiting for real football to come back for 6 months. It's happening. Tomorrow's a day off. Today was second day, official day, the way the Broncos counted anyway, of training camp. And it appears as if the first disaster, injury-wise, of the season has occurred. We're going to break it down. I'm solo 100% tonight, so I just got to mind my P's and Q's, get a couple things here rolling. That looks good. So, welcome in, everybody, to this emergency podcast episode of the Mile High Huddle podcast. I'm your host, Chad Jensen, and unfortunately, guys, we're going live here tonight because, a lot of good stuff happening on the field at Broncos Park, powered by Common Spirit. But today, unfortunately, we had the first injury kicking off, and it was, unfortunately, man, I hate to say this, linebacker Drew Sanders went down with what Mike Kliss, for example, is reporting as looks serious lower leg injury. Now, after practice, Sean Payton did not want to get into the deets. You guys know how he rolls when it comes to injuries, mum's the word. And if you don't like his initial answer, he has a penchant for getting a little kind of ornery, right? Here's what he said, quote, this was immediately following practice. So the injury, him getting carted off, that was less than a half an hour old news. Quote from Sean Payton, we don't have any update. We don't have any information yet, so we'll give it to you. It's not his Achilles, but I want to wait and see once the doctors do the MRI. Close quote. So why did Achilles? Well, lower leg the way it looked today, but also he had that partially torn Achilles from last offseason, right? That basically caused him to miss all of the 2024 season. He did make it back to the roster for the last couple of games, but in terms of being able to utilize him the way the Broncos wanted to when they decided to let Josie Jewell go, they weren't able to, right? And so just real bummer news because also Drew Sanders missed a good chunk. I got to remind myself of something here. A good chunk of his rookie year. So rookie year, I don't know. It's a bummer. He started 4 games as a rookie, only appeared in 4 last season. I feel really bad for him. And there's a lot to we don't know the full ramifications quite yet, but it looks serious. And Drew Sanders looking like he's going to be missing some time. Fingers crossed that it's, he's going to miss the summer or he's going to miss – we'll have him by the regular season or early the regular season. But with his history, man, it doesn't look good. And it's such a bummer because he's a genuine freakazoid. Think about how huge high school football is in the state of Texas. And this is one of the most coveted, accomplished Texas high school football players of all time. Went on to be recruited at Alabama, played there a couple of years, and then transferred finally to, because he didn't like the way he was being used, Arkansas. Won last year. They moved him to inside linebacker. He still had 9.5 sacks as an inside linebacker because my dude is a freakazoid. And I feel really, really bad for Drew Sanders at this stage. But there's more to get into in terms of developments from day 2. Some quick hellos. Jordan, how's it going? Great to see you in the chat early. Mike Thompson, what's good, my brother? Big Earn, great to see you tonight, my friend. And let's see, run it back saying Drew Sanders just has such bad injury luck. Luckily, we have a good amount of depth at the position. Real quick, guys, I just realized I'm on a bad for my real microphone. Sorry about that. I'll sound a lot better from here on out. Yeah, good amount of depth. Depends on how you want to quantify that. Look, if injuries weren't such already a big part of the game of football, I'd feel a lot better about it. But, Dre Greenlaw, Alex Singleton, both basically missed all of the offseason training program. I mean, they were there, but in terms of doing the on-field stuff, that was all Justin Sternad, and Drew Sanders with the ones, because the Broncos are being careful with their two starters because of the injury thing. Now you remove Sanders from that equation. Sternad with the second team. Who steps in there? And remember, second team, but these are also the first guys into the fray if something happens with either Singleton or Greenlaw. So far, what it looks like is if this does end up being serious for Drew Sanders, it's going to be Lavelle Bailey. Bailey has been looking good so far through the early stages of training camp. And what's really impressive about Bailey is he came into the league as a college free agent out of Fresno State. And his calling card was, hey, he's good against the run, kind of lacking in coverage, but that's where he's really shining. So that's encouraging. And it could end up being one of those situations where the Broncos need to turn to him and utilize him more than they anticipated initially. But yeah, such a bummer. Tyrone, what's up, buddy? Yeah, Drew Sanders already. I was looking forward to seeing him play this year. I know, bud. Greg Smith, great to see you. Hope you're doing well on Facebook. Young Tyrone, that's crazy what happened to Drew. Hope it's not serious. We hope so too, buddy. Sanders will go on IR, might be cut. Well, I mean, if he were to get cut now, if he goes on IR, he goes on IR. But if you cut him because he got injured on your football field, you got to make special accommodations. You can still cut him, but he's injured. So it's kind of your responsibility to take care of his injury. So we'll see. It's not looking good for his future as a Bronco. That's for sure. And yeah, Ricky, Lavelle Bailey from your hometown. That's cool. David Youngkin, good to see you, pal. Saying Drew was a beast in college, injury prone in the NFL. I know, dude. It's such a bummer. Bronco Maniac, how you doing? Great to see you. Yeah, it's just a bummer. And it's the first real kind of that gross, sick feeling in your stomach when something happens. Someone goes down in training camp. It's also worth monitoring. Mike McGlinchey's injured. He has now missed the last 3 days of practice. So the vets reported on Tuesday. We actually heard from McGlinchey that day. No mention of injury or that he needs treatment or anything. They're out on the field that day. Was it that day? Yeah, that day. No, it was the next day. Practice. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3 days in a row. So he was out there Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, including today. He didn't practice. So he was out there initially today, and he has a black like pressure sleeve looking deal on, I think it's his right lower leg. So tweaked something. And, Sean Payton has used this phrase a few times since the training camp processes began, and that is load management. It could simply be, I doubt it though, because this early you don't even have the pads on, you're not hitting yet. I can't imagine it's a case of load management, but he has talked about how with certain players of veteran status or with an injury history, they're going to be a lot more, the Broncos, cognizant of how much they play and giving them certain kind of rest days and time off a little bit as training camp marches ahead. But I don't think that's what's going on here with Mike McGlinchey. So it's worth monitoring. And the silver lining is Alex Palczewski is getting those looks at right tackle. And hey, man, McGlinchey missed time last year with, I think it was 4 games with an injury. Palczewski, he was solid, admirable in his relief of Mike McGlinchey, but he needs these reps. So this is good for him going against guys like Jonathan Cooper and Nick Benito in practice. In the event they do have to turn to Palczewski again in the regular season, he'll be a lot more acclimated to the process. What's up, Ron? Good to see you, pal. Hope you're doing good. He says, good evening, chat on the Mile High Huddle podcast on Saturday. Go Broncos. Yeah, guys, this is going to be very short episode. So any burning questions, topics, supers, get them in the chat, because this is kind of an emergency episode. Zach and I will do a full episode, of course, tomorrow, going over a lot of these same topics. But yeah, it's just still kind of a shock. Drew Sanders. I mean, shock in the sense that it just happened. Is it all that surprising considering his injury history? No, but it's just such a bummer. Yeah, Jason and David bringing up Bo Nix. I want to be the best in the world. I love it. Yeah, so today, kind of cool. Bo Nix was asked about him debuting. So this is the first time we've heard from Bo, first of all, since training camp began. And this was the first opportunity anyone could ask him about his reaction to be debuting at number 64 on the NFL Network Top 100 Players of 2025 list. And why this list? I mean, heck, we're coming out of this offseason where it seems like all we had to talk about was one list or ranking after another. But the reason this one matters, pardon me, frog in the throat, is that it's as voted on by the players. So this is peers recognizing other peers. So it has a lot more meaning, especially individually. Bo Nix, he appreciates that his peers put him on this list. So here's what he said today, quote, "I'm kind of on both sides with it. I think it's obviously a cool honor because that's what your peers think, guys that you play. At the same time, just the way I think, the way I'm motivated, I want to continue to get higher, not even for the ranking. It doesn't really matter what you're ranked. It's just an internal standard that I have that I want to be the best in the world. I know there are a lot of guys I'm competing for that with. I'm not going to stop until I at least give it my best try," close quote. So that is what Bo Nix said today about hitting it and making the list. It's really cool. Stoked for him. He's unsatisfied. He's yeah, it's nice. Even the Pro Bowl, right? He had the opportunity to actually put Pro Bowl on his resume. He finished 2024 voted as an alternate. You don't actually get to say you're a Pro Bowler or put it on your resume. It doesn't show up on your wiki page unless you're either voted in as a starter or as an alternate. A guy above you on the pecking order bows out for the games itself, whether it's, injury or, they want to go ahead and get moving on with their offseason, and whether they participate or not, because they were voted starters, they're automatically Pro Bowlers. So they don't really care to go. Bo Nix had that opportunity as an alternate in January, and he declined it because it was more important to him. He had scheduled getting a minor cleanup procedure done on his ankle. He could have kicked that can down the road by a week, 2 weeks, in all likelihood, right? And then gone and done the Pro Bowl, gotten that on his resume, but he didn't want to because he wanted to get it done ASAP. So he had as much possible time as he would need to be ready for his team, because he's not focused on the accolade. As he said, it's obviously a cool honor, but that's not what's driving him. He wants to be the best in the world, and you got to love that about Bo Nix. I'm alone because it's just an emergency pod. We were not planning on going live tonight, but I thought, hey, man, with Drew Sanders going down, I'm going to do a little short pod and talk about what we know. So Rodney wants to know, do you think it's time to kick tires? Kick tires means like check it out, inspect. In the case of Drew Sanders, is it time to kick him to the curb? No, I don't think so. No, but it's just so frustrating. Former 3rd round pick of the maiden Sean Payton draft class, right? Am I getting my years right? 23, 24, yeah, 25. So it's just a bummer, dude, because he's raw. He's still pretty raw as a 3rd-year guy because he hasn't seen the field that much, but the talent, the size, strength, speed, that combination, it's just rare, baby. And there's a reason the Broncos have hung in there with him. I don't think his days are done. Depends on how serious things get with this injury. If he misses a lot of time, if he'll go on injured reserve, and once he gets healthy, the Broncos can have the choice to cut him or release him. But basically, they're on the hook to pay for whatever, recovery, surgery, rehab that he might need. So if it ends up being a year-long thing, like he's out for the season, I'm touching wood as I say that, that's not a bridge I don't think that'll get crossed till next spring. But if you get that far, you might as well give him one last offseason in training camp to see if he can show anything and stay healthy. Yeah, he could have, David, gone to the Pro Bowl, opted not to because he wanted to instead get that procedure. Thanks, Rodney. Appreciate you being with me. I know, kind of quiet. And that's the thing. It's like, hey, it's a Saturday night. We haven't been with the Orange and Blue View guys kind of on hiatus. You guys have not been used to us even having a Saturday night show for whatever it's been now, like 2 months, month and a half at the least. But not only did this happen with Drew Sanders, but hey, dude, we've been waiting 6 freaking months for something to actually start happening at Broncos HQ. And now that it has, man, I'm excited. I want to talk about stuff. So I'm here. We're doing it. But it is going to be a short episode because, we'll let our hair down a lot more on all these subjects tomorrow night with Zach. But Greg says, speculation on my part, but if it's the Achilles again, it's going to be hard for Drew Sanders. No doubt, dude. No doubt about it. But some other developments. Yeah, I'll agree on that, Rodney. I don't think it's the greatest depth. I mean, Bailey could turn out to be something special, but in terms of proven versus, potential versus production, I mean, even Sternad, he started last year finally, and early on he was pretty solid, but man, did he wither down the stretch. I don't know, one missed tackle after another. He was a big reason, not the only, but a big reason why the Bills were able to just cram it down our throat on the ground. And if you have to turn to Sternad, hey, he knows the scheme, he's smart, he's athletic, but he's not built to last, man. And I worry about that. And my consolation to that fear was, hey, Drew Sanders. Now Drew's out. We'll see what it ends up being. But Sean Payton doesn't. He said it's not his Achilles. Now we'll find out exactly what it is probably by tomorrow. We'll get reports. I would guess we'll know for sure by tomorrow night's podcast. Ronk says could be a torn ACL. It could be. I mean, we could speculate, but it's a lower leg, which means, knee down. So could be knee. Not good. Not good. Bossman Jay, there are a lot of trade candidates available, which just actually reminds me. Let me check on one guy in particular. Hold on one sec. I want to see if he's signed, this guy I'm thinking of. I mean, did he announce his retirement? Why is he being categorized? Oh, no, he's gone. I forgot about that. I was like, hey, CJ Mosley's still out there. But no, he, on his 33rd birthday, which was about a month ago, announced his retirement from football. So he's not an option. At the risk of, let me just go spot rack. Hang tight. Let me just look at some guys who are out there real quick. I would do the scratch and sniff with you, but I don't want to screw up the stream, and StreamYard's been acting really lame lately. So I'm going to go, let me see here, linebacker. We want inside linebacker. We want available. Yeah, we want no available. There we go. So Mosley retired. Here's your options. I mean, Josie Jewell, but the Panthers cut him because of some injury stuff. I need to examine that one a little further because it might make some sense depending on what his injury sitch is for the Broncos to knock on his door if this ends up being serious with Drew. But Eric Kendricks is still out there. He's interesting. Eric Trickle advocated for Eric Kendricks as at least a guy to consider last weekend when he wrote up, 5 free agents out there who could elevate the Broncos roster floor. So I like him as an idea. I'm not here for Devondre Campbell. He's a cancer. Quan, who's freaking 30, almost 31. He'll be 31. This is his age 31 season. Basically, he and Jewel, though, are almost the same age, except Quan's been playing in the league a lot longer than Jewel. Jewel only has 7 years of tread wear on his tire. Quan, he's got 10. So it's not a great field of free agents, guys. It's just not. So yeah, let me go back to one last thing on hold on one sec, guys. Remind myself of something. A few things happened. Wilt Stye was away last week, and this was... So here's the story from Zach, and that's Josey Jewell released by the Panthers amid health concerns. This is from Darren Gant of the official Panthers website. According to a team spokesperson, Jewell wanted to prioritize his health and recovery and be considerate of his teammates, and the move allows the Panthers to move forward with a group of players who are able to get all the practice reps when camp opens. If all goes well with his recovery, he could return to the team at some point. Concussion protocol. And the thing is, too, with the concussion protocol, this is 7 months later. So he might be done, Josey Jewell. He's been in the concussion protocol a long time. Poor guy. That's a bummer because I like Josey. Back to the chat for a second. Yeah, I got to tell you, Troy Franklin's been showing out. Sean Payton talked about him today, saying about Troy Franklin. First of all, that yeah, he's looking good. Where's my quote, coach? Where is it? I know he talked about it today. What, the Sam Hill? Well, I'll find it. But yes, he's looking good. And he's according to Bo Nix, Troy Franklin, he's a lot more confident. And he's starting to hear from his, Troy Franklin was his number one target at Oregon. So they have a lot of history together and they have great communication and whatnot. This is what Bo said today, quote, "Now I feel like he can take what he knows and he can go out there and naturally get open. I'm getting a little bit more, hey, I'm open, throw me the ball." And that's usually a good thing from guys like that who don't usually do that. I know he's confident right now and he's practiced really well so far. So he's excited to see how he does. He's been a riser, no doubt about it. Troy Franklin has been a riser in training camp early on. Hey, Boss Man Jay, dude, thank you for the super chat, my brother. Appreciate it. He's trying to rep his podcast. He says, "I did my first pod, Broncos Unchained. Remember, it's the first one, working on it. Wants everyone to check it out." Good luck with that, dude. And thank you for the super chat. Wish you the best on that front, my friend. Clayton says, "Ooh," and Bo participated with Drew Brees. I absolutely 100% love that. Took the wideouts to passing camp and took the wideout for camp and QB class. Bo's doing all the things that separates good from the great. He is. And he talked about today what he was kind of learning from spending time with guys like Drew Brees, guys like Peyton Manning. What he said about the Drew Brees thing today, he said, quote, "It was fun. Anytime you can spend time with a guy like that, with that experience and just that mind and knowledge of the game, just his routine and what he was able to do, more than anything, it was just sitting down and talking to him." A lot of guys are like that. Peyton Manning, Eli Manning are the same way. Anytime you can pick those guys' brains and just kind of stand in their shoes and see what they went through. And if you can pick up on any one thing, that's a win in the conversation. But close quote there. But he also went on to talk even more about, when he approaches one of these legendary quarterbacks and spends time with them, is he talking about the X's and the O's, or is he talking about more intangible things like how to lead and just like how to approach a season, some of the more intangible, mystical aspects of being a quarterback? And it's really interesting. We can get into it here in a second if we want, but I don't have a ton of time tonight. So, yeah, really cool. Even if by osmosis some Drew Brees rubs off on Bo, I mean, he's already a guy that has a very similar style, and he's obviously playing. They're playing the same head coach and all that. So, Ronk says Andrew Farmer's a name to watch out for at linebacker, outside linebacker. We'll see. We shall see. Yeah. So tomorrow is a chill day, and then Monday fans get to go back, and the pads are going on. No more injuries. We touch wood as we say that. Hey, adios, David. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks for stopping in. Rodney, what's your prediction on who's going to be the wide receiver 2? Bailey, Mims, Franklin. Man, it's still so early. Still so early. I think in a perfect world. Now, are we talking about like the actual Z receiver who gets the majority of snaps? Sutton at X, Z, then you got your slot guy, then you got Evan Ingram? Or are we talking about guy who kind of finishes as the second leading receiver? Because they could be two different things. But let's face it, the Broncos Sean Payton drafted Marvin Mims, Troy Franklin, and Devon Bailey, and Pat Bryant. Pat Bryant actually has the highest pedigree of the like non-returner guys. So Mims, look, obviously second round pick, highest draft pedigree, but he was initially drafted to come in and be their like returner, paid dividends right away. Pro Bowl, back-to-back years. But Franklin, he was a 4th round pick. Bryant's the 3rd round pick, but he's a rookie. And you heard from Sean Payton today that in the case of Bryant, very smart and mature, only has to be told something once. You only have to say it one time, whether it's his coaches, Bo Nix telling him something as he leaves the huddle one time. Very smart. So there's a lot. And then Bailey, I mean, he was the guy that looked the best in the offseason, and he missed whatever it was, 2 practices, that mandatory minicamp, but he's been in full effect so far. So I'm not sure, man. If I had to, I mean, look, how did it end last year? Bailey was the number 2. But Franklin, things don't just stay in stasis because, he was our number 2 last year. Like, whatever happens this summer is going to obviously inform who gets that number 2. So Franklin so far seems to have the camp momentum. He's got a higher draft pedigree than Bailey. Bailey is older. Mims, I think, is he's going to be the gadget guy. I think he'll end up probably with the second biggest receiving totals, but I'm not sure that he'll be that Z guy. I think it's going to be Troy Franklin. It's either going to be Bailey or Franklin this year, and probably Pat Bryant. But that's a tough question, man. It's too early for me to say it, to render a prediction with confidence. But, gun to my head, I'm saying Franklin for now, but I'm not confident in that take. Greg says, fingers crossed that we get through camp and preseason with no major starter injuries. I know, dude. Amen to that. Before I go, this was kind of interesting, guys. Today, so Brandon Jones at the podium after practice, and about halfway through his session holding court, he's asked about PJ Locke. Now, you got to remember, he and Locke go way back to their time together at the University of Texas. And PJ Locke left for the draft in 2019, didn't get drafted, had to sign on first with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He basically spent offseason and training camp with them. Then they cut him. And then he joined the Broncos on the practice squad, and he's been with the Broncos ever since. Meanwhile, the following year, 2020, Brandon Jones went to the draft, got drafted in the 3rd round by the Miami Dolphins. And then, 4 years later, last year, really cool, they're the Broncos reunited in the Broncos backfield as the starting duo. But it didn't work out well for Locke. Jones turned in his best season as a pro. He was a Pro Bowl alternate. He is an absolute badass. But Locke, not looking so good because of, we learned later, the back injury thing. And he underwent a miraculous spinal fusion surgery in January. He's already back out on the grass, and he's, according to Jones, here's what he said about him. Really interesting. First of all, quote, being like one of the only people that has dealt with this type of injury before, and the way he's come back and the way he's looked, I'm super, super impressed. I tell him every day how good he looks, his feet, his speed, everything. It looks like he hasn't lost a step at all. And also, he did grow an inch, which is a little crazy. I'm like, hey, I could use a little inch after the surgery. I'm like, I might need to do that with a smile, right? But he's been excellent, and I'm super happy for him. He's been playing extremely well at a high level, and I'm definitely glad to have him back. Close quote. So PJ Locke listed on the listed on the Broncos roster as a 5'10" safety. Might need to change that to 5'11" if he's really grown an inch. That's amazing. You hear people say like they'll come out of a chiropractic adjustment or something like they've never been before, and like they feel taller, or they'll say they were a little taller coming out of it because I guess, you're relieving the pressure on the discs and the joints, and you're kind of like a slinky opening up the spine. But spinal fusion surgery giving you an inch, that is crazy. It's actually quite crazy. So we'll see. But it's a good thing because the Broncos, hopefully everything goes well. And Huff, that's what they call Talanoa Hufanga. Huff, hopefully he stays healthy, but he plays such a physical brand of football that, it's going to be hard to not ever be nicked up. You want a little bit of insurance back there. And PJ Locke, dude, when he came on in 2023 in relief of a constantly suspended Kareem Jackson, we were like, whoa, this dude's a revelation. Where's he been all this time? Broncos thought the same thing, and they said adios. Eventually, they cut Kareem Jackson at the end of the year. They even let Justin Simmons go, re-signed PJ to a 2-year deal. We were all excited about him, right? We felt like, yeah, this is his time. He earned it. You get to the season, and he's just getting exploited one game after another, a bomb over the top, or just slow getting there, and not the same physical guy, missing tackles. But now we know he was playing in an excruciating amount of pain, and that's gone. So we'll see. Kind of cool. All right, couple more topics here, and then I'll dip on out. Dennis, how are you, dude? Good to see you in our chat. He says, I'm worried about this run game. RJ Harvey fumbled 9 times in 3 seasons at UCF. I wouldn't worry too much about it, buddy. I honestly wouldn't. Fumbles are always going to be an issue, but that's an instruction. That's a point of emphasis. Let's put it that way, that he's been getting from the second he hit the league. We'll see. I'm not that worried about it for RJ Harvey. He's going to be an explosive contributor to this offense. And from out of the gates, it's Dobbins. J.K. Dobbins is kind of getting the number 1 first team reps, and then they rotate in a little bit. I think you'll see everyone kind of get a little bit of a taste during camp and practice with the ones, so you don't read too much into it. But the 1-2 punch is going to be Dobbins and Harvey. In which order, when it's all said and done, we'll see. Probably be Dobbins out of the gates as the 1, with Harvey as the 2. But, Dobbins, solid, consistent as the day is long, right? If you can keep him on the field. But a lot of people don't realize how explosive and reliable and consistent he is. He was drafted in 2020. His 5.2 yards per carry career average is the second best amongst all running backs who've been drafted since 2020. Wrap your brain around that. And then you get RJ Harvey, who was the second most explosive running back in the FBS last year, behind only Ashton Genty. And look, dude, when the Broncos drafted Harvey, Sean Payton still had a relative pick of the litter in terms of options. Including Dylan Sampson. He had a lot of different routes he could have gone. A lot of the draft nicks, they thought Harvey was a 3rd, 4th round pick. Not in Sean Payton's estimation. Sean Payton wanted RJ Harvey. So I wouldn't lose much sleep over the running game, honestly. Last year was the year, yeah, we're losing sleep. We're up at night. We're worrying, why can they not move the ball on the ground? When Bo Nix is your most explosive ball carrier, you got a problem. But RJ's in, Javonte's out, Dobbins is in. Plus, you still got the incumbents like Jaleel, who's got some twitch to him, and Audric Estime, who could still have some upside if he gets much of an opportunity. What's up, MBLX? Test prep. becoming a member on YouTube. A Super Chat Superstar becoming a member. Dude, I'm so stoked. Thanks for doing that, brother. We just rolled that out as training camp was kicking off. We've been promising we were going to do it. Here we are. And it's going to be fun, dude. We're going to have a 1-800 number that we're going to incorporate to the show that you guys will be able to call in, share your takes. We'll use them on the show, ask us specific questions, etc. We're going to be returning Broncos Book Club. We're starting with, and this is for members only, we're starting with the Elway years, the new Mike Kliss book. I think we had him on the show. Yeah, we had him on the show to discuss this when it first came out. And lots more, dude. Members only streams, opportunity for you guys to kind of get to know us a little bit better. When we get on, we turn the camera on, the mic, and we go live. We try to keep it, Broncos, and that's going to be the plan with the membership content. But at the same time, hey, you guys want to talk to us about other things? Like Zach and I talk too much about our personal lives on the public streams, but it'll be fun, a little bit more intimate relationship, access, conversation, community. It's going to be so sick, dude. So thank you, my brother, MBLEX Test Prep, MTP, for supporting the cause and becoming a member, dude. Seriously. So the first, by the way, if you guys want, as members, if you want to participate in Broncos Book Club with me, get this book ASAP, order it on Amazon or whatever. The first episode of Broncos Book Club is going to be a week from today. So that's, I believe it's August 2nd. Let me double check that on the old calendar. Yeah, August 2nd. And to keep it easy, we just want to get through the first chapter, which is titled The Final Bow. And so, what is a book club? It's kind of nerdy, right? But what is a book club? I'm a nerd, by the way. A book club is you all read the same book. You come together and you talk about the book, what you learned, share observations, takeaways, anecdotes, and then you're all reading off the same assignment. So, all right, guys, this week, we got chapter 1. Next week, let's meet to discuss chapters 2 and 3. We're going to go 2 at a time or whatever. We'll decide that as we go, depending on how fast everyone is. But August 2nd, first episode of Broncos Book Club for the members on YouTube. Elway years, once again, Mike Kliss. It's going to be fun. So thank you again, big dog. D-Dub in the hizzy. Great to see you. Legendary, mythical member of this community, Mount Rushmore Super Chat Superstar, and an OG and a dear friend of mine. I love this man. D-Dub checking in from Hawaii with a very generous Super Chat. Thank you, brother. He says, you and Zach have been doing a number of solo runs lately. Life calls, I'm sure. Look forward to more football. So great to be in camp and hear great news. Broncos for life. Yeah, I don't know if you caught earlier the news about Drew Sanders, D-Dub, but he went down, was carted off today. Lower leg injury, looks serious. Payton said it's not his Achilles. MRI coming. We'll find out exactly how serious soon. But yeah, the solo stuff, the summertime for us, right, is the only opportunity we have to really get away, whether it's family vacations. I don't really hunt. I don't fish. I don't hike. What I do when I'm not doing this or the site, writing my rear end off with 5 or 6 articles a day or spending time with my wife and kids is the music stuff. And the only, when football's rolling, which started this week, once football gets rolling, I don't have time to do that. My hobby, my passion hobby. I approach the passion hobby with a professional kind of focus, but it's still a hobby. I'm not trying to make a living on it. And so I did a little bit of that, some Bridge the Gap stuff last week, did a little mini tour in California and Nevada and came home. And Zach held it down. And today, this episode, I'm going live solo because Zach wasn't we weren't planning on going live, but when Drew Sanders went down, I'm like, oof, we got to do an emergency pod. And Zach was tied up. He was already away from home. So it wasn't in the cards. But D-Dub, love you, big dog. Great to see you. Thank you for the generous support, my friend. It means the world. You know this. Okay, guys. Sanders has this year and next. He was a 2023 third-round pick, Todd. Great to see you, buddy. Great to see you. Can we all read my book? It's not Broncos related, but I don't know. It's Broncos book club. So be a part of Broncos book club though, and you can mention it, you can mention it. But that's really cool that you've authored a book, my friend. Props to you. Mike says, start my vacation next week at Walmart, dude. Good for you, bro. Stoked. Good for you. You're going to need that R&R, my friend. Okay, guys. I've touched on the main things I wanted to tonight. Real quick. Drew Sanders injury update. The Bo Nix, I want to be the best in the world. Troy Franklin buzzing. I mean, he's looking good. PJ Locke grew an inch after his spinal lower back fusion surgery, whatever. Mike McGlinchey still out, still missing the last 3 days of practice. Maybe we'll see him Monday with the pads going on. That's my hope, because tomorrow's a day off for the guys. Monday they come back with pads. Hopefully McGlinchey's back out there. And I think that's it. So Zach and I will be back, of course, together tomorrow night for sure. 6 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Eastern. So enjoy your weekend, everybody. I'll tell you what I'm about to do. I'm going to go barbecue some steaks with the fam. It's going to be fun. So much love and respect to you guys. Again, check out as MBLX was talking about, become a member on YouTube. There's 2 tiers. It's real simple. There's like a $3 tier and a $10 tier, depending on how generous you want to be with your monthly support. And we got a lot of fun stuff cooking for the members. And I've really dragged my feet on rolling out the membership, because this is my focus, doing the live streams with you guys in the community and the Super Chat Superstars. But you guys asked for it, and we wanted to be able to finally also have something cool, something special to offer you to make it a membership that comes with some perks and some bennies. So looking forward to Broncos Book Club amongst many other things, and more information is going to be coming out with that, along with members only content in the next week or two. So be ready for that. It's going to be a gas. Connect with me on X at Chad and Jensen. I'm trying to be better about X. I got to tell you guys, for the longest time, I've hated Twitter. And the only reason I've ever even been on Twitter is because it's a mandatory thing for my business. But I'm trying to spend more time on it myself, tweeting my thoughts and observations more different kinds of content, memes and videos and this and that. Same with our main account at Mile High Huddle, putting a bigger focus on our X profile, because you guys can see where my loyalties and love lies, right? Look at our social media. Facebook, 100-something thousand followers. YouTube, 30-something thousand followers. X, I think the Mile High Huddle has like 11,000 followers. I mean, for the longest time, all I would do is tweet links. That's it. No engagement, no talking, no hanging out, no posting, no getting unique. Just the links of the stories. Hey, come check them out. So I'm frankly surprised. I know it's an old account. It's like 12 years old. It's as old as the website. But more emphasis, my point here, guys, on not only my personal X account, but the Mile High Huddle, the pod Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it. So connect with us over there. With the football season gearing up again, guys, this has become important, and we're going to be getting the giveaways rolling again. But please, even if you don't listen on Spotify and Apple, and you basically are just a live stream member of the community, and that's where you get the information, where you're with us every night. If you don't have Apple, open up Spotify, find our podcast, Mile High Huddle Podcast, give us a 5-star. Same thing on Apple Podcasts. Helps us out a lot. We need to bump up our numbers on the 5-star reviews. Help us reach other people. It's a great way to reach other people. So love you guys. Thank you so much for spending a little bit of your Saturday evening with me. Kind of impromptu status. We'll find out soon, probably by tomorrow night, what the prognosis is on Drew Sanders. So fingers crossed, prayers. Let's hope it's only going to cost him a little bit of time. Such bad luck, but I'll see you tomorrow, 6 p.m. Mountain, 8 p.m. Eastern with Zach. Full-blown MHH podcast. Have a great weekend. Love you guys.